It's never it's never just one loss. If you stay with me in this video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how one loss turns into five and why it feels like it comes out of nowhere and how it literally doesn't. I'm gonna expose the actual pattern of how this happens for you all the time. And maybe it's like one loss to two losses, one loss to 10, one loss to 15. I'm just giving 1 to 5 as a subjective number. But once you see the pattern of whatever your normal situation is, you're gonna start to catch it in real time. So stay tuned to this video. So most traders think that losing streaks are random. They love this word. Day traders love the word random. Like, no shade, but they love the word random. It just shook out on me. Like, it was just random. It was just a spike. Like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what happened. Just happened out of nowhere. And they say that like the market stops working, but that's not what's happening. There's a chain reaction and it starts earlier than you think. There's a chain reaction that's starting earlier than you think, and it starts with this. So what we're gonna do right now is get rid of this word random. Nothing is random. It's a pattern, and it's starting with this one loss here. Now you might be asking, what does this one loss look like? How do I know what loss you're referring to? I'm gonna give it to you. Number one, the first loss looks normal, feels normal, and most definitely has the characteristics that nothing is wrong yet. You took a loss and nothing's wrong. Right after that first loss, here comes the first shift, and this is really where it happened, right? So instead of just going from 1 to 5, where you call it random, let's start making some points here, right? Number one, you don't fully reset. That's number one. So maybe you're focused on the loss that you just had. Maybe you think you want to go get that money back. Maybe you're just slightly off. You're like, dang, I don't even, you know. And when you feel slightly off, there's no law that says you can't just set a timer for 5 minutes, do some breathing, and just relax your nervous system and take a break, right? When you feel slightly off, you can do that. But again, nothing major. Just something has changed and you didn't fully reset. So right now, what I want you to add in the comments as your notes, so that when other people are watching it, they can also get these notes. The first loss is not the problem. This is the problem, not resetting after the loss is the problem. Losses are not problems. It's normally what you do after the loss. That's the problem. Okay? This is where the chain actually begins. So now you take the next trade, but it's not the same. So now that you did not fully reset, I guess I should put not at the top of that, not fully reset. Now you feel more rushed and reactive. Okay? This is, as you can see, we're building the chain reaction right now of how it actually plays out. So we have our first loss, not fully reset, and then feeling more reactive. This can look like feeling really focused on the outcome. You're looking at the P&L more than you would, but again, still feels very controlled. You still feel very responsible. You still have this idea in your head, I'm a day trader, I know what I'm doing, but it's not clean. If this trade loses, now it builds again. Now you start to actually feel it, okay? Now you went from these two trades. Now you have another trade that's probably going to be built on frustration. Other things like pressure and urgency, but let's just say like frustration, right? Cool. This is where most day traders realize something is wrong. We've taken a trade here, we've taken a trade here, And now you're noticing, by this point, it's a wrap. That's why you feel like it's random. You're like, oh my gosh, when did this happen? Like, when, when, when did my account blow up? When did I get in this spiral? It's because you're trying to recognize it here and you don't even know where to trace back to. So now let's say another trade happens. This is where your behavior really is going to shift. What you're going to do here is you're probably going to size up. You're probably going to force a trade and you're probably going to hold a trade longer than you should, right? So here's the chain reaction, right? Let's just call it the biggest thing is probably forcing a trade, right? It's really a C plus trade, but it looks like an A plus plus plus. So you're looking at a C plus trade and you're gonna call it A plus plus plus, right? All of a sudden you feel like, oh my gosh, the trading gods are in my favor. It gave me an A plus 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 trade the whole time is nothing, okay? Now you're not trading the market at this point. You're trying to stop a streak using more money. And this is where the spiral actually accelerates. So you think it's just one on top of one on top of one, but it's really 1, 1.5, 4, 10, 20. So now if this trade loses over here, I'm not even in the camera no more. This is how much of a domino effect. If this trade loses, now it's going to stack emotionally. And when I say emotionally, I mean a personal attack. This is where tilt is going to fully take over. So let's just say you take another trade, right? Let's bring ourselves back closer to the middle of the board. So you were reactive here, but now, do you understand how all these things are like they're exponential because they're stacking while something's not stopping, right? So here you didn't fully reset, but there was nothing there. Here you fully reset. You didn't fully reset, but you also are still reactive. Here you're frustrated, reactive, and you never fully reset. Here you're looking at a terrible setup. You're already frustrated, you're already reactive, you've already lost, and you never fully reset. That's why that spiral happens. And so at this point, you're not even filtering trades. You're just trying to fix what's happening. So your filtering system of like market structure and actually looking at patterns and actually looking at your strategy and your sizing plan, your risk plan, what you know about the market, fundamental analysis, technical analysis, out the window. And this is where your account actually gets damaged, right? This is the one that people usually remember. This is the big loss right here. Okay? This is the emotional trade. This is the huge loss. And it's the moment where everything is going to collapse. Just say big loss. Okay? Emotional trade is where everything collapses and it's where you have that huge loss. And they think, this is where I went wrong. And then you start asking yourself questions like, oh man, I gotta go back and learn some strategy because I didn't filter that trade. How did I see it was a C plus trade when really, how didn't I see it was a C plus trade or really it was, terrible? How didn't I see that? And you think that like, this is not it. This is just the result of all of that. The real problem is the chain. This arrow, this arrow, this arrow, this arrow, this arrow. That's the actual chain. So you have a loss, and then you have a slight shift. You don't reset, and then you feel a little bit of pressure. So now you're reactive, and then you are feeling frustrated. Now you're escalating, and you're not even seeing what type of setups you have. And now you're breaking your entire filtration system. And that's why it feels random. But really, it doesn't only feel random, it feels fast. You're like, oh my gosh, One minute I took a loss, the next minute I gave all my monthly profit away. It's because you didn't notice it building. You don't notice that. You notice it at the end when you have the emotional trade and you feel everything collapse and you have a huge loss. See, you don't notice the small loss where everything feels normal. I just took a loss. You don't feel it here. You feel it when half your account is gone, or you risked $1,000 when you only had 1,000, right? It wasn't one trade. It wasn't this trade. It wasn't this trade. It wasn't this trade. It wasn't any individual trade. So when you try to trace it back, oh my gosh, how did this happen? Oh, it was this. I gotta go learn strategy. No, it's because of the sequence. And once you can see that it's because of the sequence, it's because of everything adding together and stacking on top of each other, where you have a loss, loss plus not resetting, reactive plus a loss plus not resetting, frustration plus reactive plus a loss plus not resetting. Like, do you understand how that actually is going to make sense about the sequence? Because how you try to solve this is you try to avoid losses, and you're trying to avoid losses, and avoiding losses is never going to be the thing that actually solves it for you, right? Once you see that, then you're not going to try to avoid losses. What's going to happen is you're going to try to break this chain early, and this is where day traders actually start to build beyond break even. Okay, after this first loss, you actually do reset. You slow down, you check your internal state, you turn on that 5 minute timer, you say, if the market slams $1,000 while I'm resting my eyes for 5 minutes, so be it. I need a break, I need to slow down. Right? Like, not blowing my account is worth missing the next trade. Start repeating that to yourself and letting that be true for you. Because if you can stop here, it never becomes five, and it never turns into this. It never turns into this huge loss. But you can do it in multiple different places. And what it's going to look like when you first start is you might notice it, but you might not be able to actually cut it here, right? You actually might see it here, but only cut it here. And then eventually you'll be able to cut it. Okay, I'm no longer doing this. I'm no longer doing this. I'm no longer doing it. And eventually you'll get down to where you notice a difference between consistency and spiraling. And it's not going to be perfect the first time you try to undo the sequence. But what's going to happen is you're going to notice your consistency is going to be better, and the spiraling is going to really eliminate. So if in this video, like, this idea is actually clicking, it ties directly to everything I've talked about thus far, from changing your trades mid-execution, your behavior after losses, like the actual behavior, sizing in your trades, tilt and how that happens. And this is where all of it connects together. So in the next video, I'm going to show you the exact system of how, like, all of this stuff is actually fixed, because this video is part of a series. So you can find the series. It is in the comment section, already there. Watch the videos in order. They're meant to watch in order. And honestly, if you're not, aware of the problem, that's fine. Now you are, but it's not just about being aware of the problem. I'm giving you the tools to control it, to actually be able to break this sequence. So if this video actually helped you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and watch that next video in the series. It's already here on the screen. You can click on it right on the screen to watch it. And this is where everything is finally going to come together. And I'll see you in the last video of the series.